I'm going to make you sick. I'm going to make you sick of me. Then I'm going to give you the antidote, something to make you feel better. I'm going to make you ill. Then I'm going to give you the big pill, something easy to swallow.
From New York and on the new Hot 97 app, Ebro in the morning on Hot 97.
Ebro in the morning, the beautiful Laura Stiles, Button Up P, Rosenberg looking nice.
I had to dress up for a legend today.
George Clinton.
Okay.
One nation under a groove. Flashlight. Listen, first of all, it's an honor and a pleasure to have you in our
Glad
room.
to be here, man.
Newark, New Jersey's own, Plainfield, New Jersey, P-Funk.
Always.
Yes.
Been hanging out up here for the years.
You was talking about Hal Jackson. That's
okay. I thought I'd wake you up with that one.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
gonna skip Frankie and all of them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go on back, when Hal was in WNGR and
Wow.
and BLS was uptown.
Wow, you've been coming up for that long, huh?
Yes.
And this is what this
1957.
1957.
Yeah.
Now that was,
our first record.
well, under what? What was it? What
Parliaments.
Was it? That was
Parliaments with an S.
Really?
Doo-wop in there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go to that period because WBLS was in Harlem. That was
It was, what was it called?
Sutton's owned the radio station
Sutton,
then.
yeah.
Percy Sutton. But your music journey, and this is what I kind of want to paint, because as hip-hop kids that grew up in the hip-hop generation, I learned about your music from my dad, and then obviously being used in so many things that made hip-hop great. So then we were able to look at the records and then go back and be like, oh, my dad used to play, that's that record. And you begin to learn, and your music was kept alive. Right? I'm old enough to remember when I believe it was 1980 when Atomic Dog came out. When did Atomic
82.
Dog? 82. So I was 7 years old. So I remember that. And they had a video show on NBC called like Friday Night Videos.
Oh, I remember Friday Night Videos.
Right.
Yeah, something like that. And I remember seeing the video.
Right.
But how did funk, as we know it, happen when you started in a doo-wop group? Like, how did you find that sound? What came together for you?
Well, we were ambitious to be on Motown. That was our dream. By the time we got there, which was 66, it was too late. The Beatles and Rolling Stone had already started invading the charts over here. So we had to make a change. And at that change, we did a song called I Want to Testify, which BLS and WRL, those were the first two stations to play it. And so that was the beginning. We was late, being Temptation was already the doo-wop kings, and it was late doing that. So we said we have to flip it and do something else. We saw them doing blues and rock and roll, which was the music my mother listened to. I said, okay, that's where they going. So we started doing what we call funk, which was the mid-tempo of rock and roll, which was fast, blues, which was slow. The mid-tempo, the nasty, was that New Orleans. Get out of my life, woman, to papa. You don't love me. That was the funk version. So we said, we're going to do that.
So right between, so you guys thought about it that way, sort of, between blues and rock and roll.
Yeah, we knew, Motown, I worked at the Brill Building. So I was a songwriter, so I studied songwriting.
And who were you writing for in those days?
Joe Bett. We was on the 9th floor, had the whole 9th floor up there.
And whatever artist would come through, they would say,
And they
hey.
need a song, we'd rush out and give them a song, from Elvis to Johnny Mathis to anybody who needed a song. That's what the publishers would do then. You peddle songs. And so we said we did the funk version. Our first one was good old funky music. And it happened just as the label was folding. It got real big. So we was on our own with no label and a hit record. And so we said, we just flip it. We couldn't get out of the contract because we didn't know where the guy went. So we called the band, which was from Plainfield. We called them Funkadelic. We was the Parliaments. Our little brothers was the Funkadelic. And so we put out a record called Music from My Mother. That was the Whoa, Hey, I Got a Thing and all those. And it worked. In the Midwest, Detroit, Chicago.
What kind of station started playing it?
All of Detroit.
Really?
All of Detroit. We knocked Motown off the charts in Detroit.
Wow.
In Chicago, Cleveland, Pittsburgh. So we was in that era all the way up until we did I Bet You, which Jackson 5 covered it. Then we started spreading out. we kept on doing Maggot Brain and all of the psychedelic stuff.
Yeah.
We were underground group. We wasn't even trying to get on radio then. Matter of fact, we was trying to be anti.
And why were you trying to be anti?
Because that was the hip thing. Underground, right before FM became the thing, you had to try to get on FM. FM had all the rock and roll, jazz, and gospel. All album stuff. No 45s at that time. And then when Bootsy came with us in 72, we started doing James Brown type stuff, slide type of stuff, and the funk at the same time. And we saw it was working pretty good. So we did a record called Up for the Downstroke, which
It's a classic now.
was the first one that we actually got on radio a lot, all across the country.
So I guess what I was trying to understand, and for people watching, maybe they watch this video and they can go back and hear these records, right? Because I think we're living in a time right now, especially in popular music, where the underground music, as you articulated right there, is mainstream. Hip hop was the street music of the 80s that now is
It
pop
is the
music.
thing. Everywhere around the world, we saw that coming when, after we did Knee Deep, Flashlight, and all that. And they started the DJs started being on the streets. See, because when I did Mothership, I remember thinking to myself, DJs can't play records and talk like they used to. They used to get on, play a record, and you dedicate it to your girl, and da-da-da-da. That was the whole thing. They had stopped doing that. So when I did WEFUNK, We Funk, Home Up the Action to it, I was literally biting Frankie Crocker to death.
Yeah.
Chocolate-coated freaking habit for me. Oh, nobody around the country, they didn't know that because radio by then was playing 5 records without telling you who it was.
Right.
That had became the thing. So DJs was like off of the radio. They started showing up in the clubs. They started getting the DJ pools and everything. You start taking your records to the DJ.
And what year is this?
This would have been 76.
And so you were actually when you did that, you were trying to harken back to the days of the DJ. You missed the DJ.
I missed the DJ. I missed that whole talking
Shit.
Talking shit. Yeah, you can say that. I missed
shit.
that. That was New York, Philly, Baltimore, Washington,
Detroit.
all that had they owned the city. Georgie Woods owned Philadelphia. He was like the mayor of Philadelphia. DJs was it. So when they stopped that, they started becoming popular on the street. DJ pools and clubs started becoming a thing.
Now, sorry, George. At this time, mid 70s, et cetera, is your crowd strictly black? Is it where was it fan base wise?
We bounced back and forth. We played both sides of that all the while because Parliament fans were still. We played Apollo. We had to play soft. We didn't wear the suits no more, but we chilled out all of the psychedelic and feedback and everything because that wasn't gonna work there.
So that's interesting for, I think, people to think about, is so to play the traditional black venues, you had to kind of go more traditional and conservative. And then if you were playing a whiter spot, you could psychedelic out and get
turned
weird.
up loud, and we had Marshall amps, and we was rock and roll.
And I talk about this sometimes because as a kid that grew up with hip hop music, and I've been in radio since I was 15 years old, I remember how many black radio stations did not want to embrace the street music and did not want to embrace hip hop. And that's weird. People are like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, well, we had that problem with our regular music. We were too black for white folks and too white for black folks. But the people that liked us kept growing. That particular fan base kept growing until it became mainstream. And when hip hop started becoming really popular, we were actually doing the Funkadelic thing, Mothership
Connection, all that.
All the Fred Wesley, Maceo, Bootsy, that whole thing was already established. Now hip hop came along. I put out a record called "Sample Some of This and Some of That." Give them pieces of music with the horns out of the way, with the vocals out of the way, with the guitar, all the different parts.
So you could just producer could just take it.
He could just take it and just find
or a DJ could just find it
and play
the breaks.
And that kept us right in the mix. And I remember Africa Bambaataa we put out Uncle Jam, which had Knee Deep on it. The first name on the record in our fan club is Africa Bambaataa.
Really?
Because he had came to literally and explained what they were doing in Brooklyn, the Bronx, and all that with the samplings of our record. We had no idea. De La Soul came to us, me, myself, and I. And damn, that sounds good, shit. Yeah, do that. And plus, they had a check for $100,000.
That'll help.
That'll help.
And you have so much of the publishing on that too, right? You've always done well.
I just got that shit back. I've never been paid for none of that.
Who
stuff.
had it? The labels had it?
The publishing companies.
The publishing companies had
they
it.
ripped, we was out there and we was getting fucked up. So, we wasn't paying enough attention to nothing but making music and getting bigger. We didn't realize why we out there getting high and going crazy.
That there was money just floating away.
Going everywhere.
I want to take this moment because this has happened on a couple of conversations we've had up here when we had Sister Nancy up here.
That's right.
Who never got paid from Bom Bom. No, I tell you, she never got paid until recently.
Most of us did.
I want to
10
say
years
to the
ago.
young producers watching this, and this is an opportunity for us to make sure we take care of our elders and people who gave us great music, because with the popularity of hip hop right now, with knowing that you own these records again, you own them all?
But no, most of the ones that was hits, I always owned One Nation and Knee Deep, those albums. But I've been fighting my own lawyer for 3-4 years, paid him $2.5 million. He was defending me, but he was taking it.
Damn.
So I got it back from him. I paid that, got that. Right now, Childish Gambino, the song they got.
Oh yeah, that's right. The Redbone.
Redbone,
Is,
yeah.
Redbone.
Yeah. I'd rather love you.
This is the first time that I've ever been in the mix of even thinking about getting paid.
Like while the song is out,
While it's out, I found the contract that had my name, Bootsy, and Gary Cooper, who's with us now. I found the contract. And so I told them, here it is. And so they stopped the record. They was cool enough to stop the record, nobody from getting paid till I get paid. So right now is the first time they're even considering paying us.
Well, congratulations, because that was a good one to get it on. 'Cause that record is a smash.
Oh, believe me.
And it's gonna be around forever.
It's gonna be around
I know,
forever.
right?
Yep.
Most of us.
Stay woke. Pew, pew, pew. And they flipped that nice.
They flipped it
that
nice. They flipped it nice.
You've all. It's just. I think it's so amazing that you always, even when you weren't getting paid, you always recognized that hip hop could keep you hot. Instead of fighting it, you just went.
That
with
was it was gonna be that, or it's gonna be 20 K-Tel package songs on TV,
Right.
with your song mixed in it, and you wasn't gonna get nothing for that. We already knew that. You see those oldie but goodie shows, you don't get paid. So when hip hop came along, people started talking to me. I know how to get in if somebody mentioned my name. I know how to get in the game.
And do you remember, Ebro? I remember, and Laura, I'm sure you remember this too. When I was in high school, I'm 38. So when I was in high school in the late 90s and in college in the early 2000s, around that time, this is now post Snoop Dogg, et cetera, when Snoop's already started, all the like white stoner kids, they all started going to your shows.
Yeah.
Everyone would all start. George Clinton started playing the festivals.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted to get into George Clinton. So you really had a whole second run of fans there in the 90s.
That was the third time around.
Third time around.
That was the third time around. Because it really started, right, doing the Atomic Dog.
Right.
When everybody was sampling Atomic Dog and Tear the Roof Off. Everybody was sampling it. So we got a big, push back in that time. We did Do Fries Go With That Shake, And we made records with Ice-T, Ice Cube,
Bop
Dre,
Gun with Cube.
Cube,
Yeah.
Tupac, of course.
Tupac, when he was the dancer, and De La Soul was trying to be a band.
You talking about Digital Underground?
Digital Underground.
They were all out together for Tommy Boy.
But Shock G sampled a lot of
that's what I'm
records.
saying. We knew them before they were even rappers. They were trying to be a band.
Right.
When,
Well, because Shock G's a jazz,
he's
trained
trained.
jazz musician. Yeah.
2 or 3 of them played keyboards in the group.
Yeah.
So we watched them flip them, and Dre and them they borrowed our name, Uncle Jam Army. That used to be their club, their little disco club. And we'd go there when we put out a new record just to show them.
So, Mr. Clinton, was it understood that what Parliament and Funkadelic and Funk was doing Was it universally understood in Black America, in the streets and in the hood, what you guys were giving musically to culture at that time when it was happening? Because it always feels like when you talk to the OGs about funk, it was universally understood what that music meant at the time.
Well, the kids in college basically did. They were the only one analyzing, you know, the theory of making records with samples or even the new music coming out being samples. You know, we all did it on the radio. You played to a track when you was on TV. So it was easily understood, but putting a record out like that, nobody didn't know what it entailed. So when somebody said, that's my beat or that's from my song, they didn't know how to take it. Whether they being mad at first or glad. We tried to set the stage that we were glad that was being, you know, included in what was going on. And we just got in there and helped, which we didn't look like old fools trying to still hang out.
No. It was just you could use it.
We could do it. And plus, we had our own thing of psychedelic, which everybody still looked up to. We went out of the country. We was like Jimi Hendrix. You know, we were like, rock stars don't go nowhere. In most countries, we the only one having like fast food. You hit while you're on the charts, and when you're up the charts, if you ain't got another hit record, you're out of here. Mm-hmm. You can actually have a career, you know, a lot of places, just being able to play and perform.
So what other countries were you really big in? Everywhere?
Pretty much everywhere, yeah.
Especially
Europe.
Is there a I sort of feel like maybe the line of, you were saying the college kids really were the ones digging in. Was it weed heads? Was it always weed heads?
It was always
weed heads,
druggies.
Right? Yeah, the druggies always got it.
You know, we flipped when we first took acid. We left here thinking we was gonna be pimps and shit. You know, we was wearing suits. I worked in a barbershop. I did hair, so we made motherfuckers cool. You know what I'm saying? We knew what styling was about. That was no thing. We made the people that looked cool.
But when we see pictures of you and so you're like, damn, Jordan must have been really high when he did that. The answer was yes, you were. Right.
Oh, it's higher than that. That was a prerequisite. It took me 35 years to get back down. You know?
Just got back.
5 years, 6 years ago.
He just touched down. Welcome back, man. We're happy to have you.
Right.
Yeah, welcome back.
Your wife,
Yeah.
she brought you back.
Yeah.
Come on home.
Nigga, please, come on.
It's been a long time.
You too old. This shit don't even work no more anyway. You know, drugs was not good anyway.
Yeah.
They'd start making money off us. See, when we started doing drugs, it was always, you want to share a joint? You want to share a tab? Everything was cool like that. But after they got commercial, after Woodstock, hey man, $20 a lid, and ain't no telling what's in the lid.
Yeah.
A tab, I wouldn't dare take a tab of what they got out here now.
When was the last time you popped a random tab, not even quite sure what it was?
God, if you remember that, you didn't pop a good one. That's right. Now, that would have been 71.
71 was the last time you popped a
To
good
me,
one?
it was over after Woodstock.
Really?
I read this when after Woodstock, when it started being commercial, that's when you had to start getting scared.
Yeah.
So acid, I quit that. I was snorting. I was, smoking weed.
But no more trips.
No
That
more
was the
trips.
end.
No. I mean, the trip I took was worse. See, at least the trip you took on acid was beautiful. Even ugly folks was beautiful. When you started fucking around with crack, everything is ugly.
It's bad.
Everything is ugly. You know, and you didn't realize it was mainly for money. But once you're in, it's too late. You're reaching for it every time. You never got it again.
What years was that? Early, mid-'80s?
From 81, 81, 82.
And how bad did it get?
Oh, bad as crack can get. Well, I mean, I wasn't one of the kinds that knew how to steal. I was too paranoid to steal. Because it's all about paranoia.
Yeah.
That is the high. But certain things, if you know you fucking up, then the paranoia is fear. That's the way I looked at it. So, but it takes a long time and a good reason. And the reason was I was beginning to mess up music. When you start messing up music, then you're messing up everything. That's the way I looked at it.
How were you messing up music in your eyes?
I wasn't putting out nothing, the way I should. I put out one album in 10 years. We were still working everywhere. but I didn't know how to get, you couldn't get on radio. They don't play no 50-year-old people records. There was no place to come in at. When I realized that, okay, this internet and this YouTube, I can work that. I know how to make faces. I know how to be funny. I know how to make music, whatever they doing. Once that happened 3 years ago, we did an album called First You Gotta Shake the Gate. Ain't That Funkin' Kinda Hard on You? Kendrick Lamar, Ice Cube. After we did Kendrick's record, I had him do one with us, him and Ice Cube, and we back on the air again.
Yeah.
Everywhere. You know, we got one coming out now. I'm Gonna Make You Sick of Me.
Mm-hmm.
That's when we debuted it on the Dre's New show the other day.
Yeah, on the pharmacy on Apple
We
Music.
doing on the road, it's like we got the #1 record already. You know what I'm saying? It is so hot. We played last night in Brooklyn at the Boiler Room. It's a club place. You know, my wife, she played records, and I get up there and clown on, you know.
You're a DJ. There you go.
You know, so we just be clowning. And people let us get away with things that they probably wouldn't let other people get
But
away
I think everybody's just genuinely happy to see you because without you, your mind, Bootsy, and you know everybody, Gary Clark, everybody that was involved in making those sounds. A lot of what we have today, my job, everybody in this room, we don't have, right? The even with the spaceship on stage, right? Like that concept for black artists going that far creatively. That's why we have a Kanye West who puts a mountain and a Yeti on. Remember, he had the abominable snowman or whatever that was on stage, or the floating stage, and just those theatrics for black artists. We didn't have it before Parliament. You know, we didn't have.
Right. I was imitating like the Who, the Beatles.
Right.
You know, those had those big production. I said when I did that show, Mothership, I wanted a stage show that was bigger, not only than any blacks had ever done, but any whites had ever done. Tear the Roof Off was such a big record, and I had a guy, Neil Bogart, who was a promotion man. He knew what it was like to hype. He knew what. So I said, if I buy the spaceship, you promote us. We have a team going.
How did you move the spaceship around? Was it came apart? You put it on trucks?
Came apart. We had 2 semi trucks.
Wow.
We had that whole production.
And what year was this?
That was 76. The show you see on the Houston.
Yeah. That was the Astro? Is that what it's called?
No, it was the Summit.
The Summit.
It's
Houston
actually
Summit.
the church now that you see that.
Oh, that was his face? Yeah.
That's
Oh,
Joe
wow.
Osteen's church was where y'all was getting high
It
at.
was the Summit.
That's good.
We was having church then.
Yes, you were.
That was real church back then.
It was very spiritual.
Yeah.
It was
Did
very
you
spiritual.
did you have a relationship with Hendrix?
I met him a couple of times, you know, at the Cheetah, when they first opened the Cheetah here. You know, I met him there. But I watched him with King Curtis, the Isley Brothers. I knew he was going to be something. You know, he was a blues player and guitar player, but he ran out in tuxedos with no shoes on. This nigga got to be something. You know, you knew that. And when he did the record, and I saw all the amps he had, I had only seen one other group do that, was The Who. I knew he had done something. I got that Are You Experienced record. I pondered over that for like 2 weeks. You know, I didn't know what to do with myself.
Why? Because sonically it was so
It was something,
advanced.
you could feel the blues in it.
Yeah.
You knew that, and you know all the kids, all the white kids, at least, was loving it. Something's got to be going. And when I got it, wow, he's playing what my mother used to like, but he's playing it loud. And so we just started. So I got Eddie Hazel, who was 15 at the time, gave him the records. And for another 6 months, we were doing Free Your Mind, Your Ass Will Follow.
Right. Oh, wow.
You know.
I didn't know that came after
Oh,
that.
we took about 3 or 4 tabs, all of us, and did the whole album in 3 days.
Got high as
Just
hell.
got it in, just didn't come out
Toe was right.
until it was
Who do you in your eyes, in George Clinton's eyes, who do you view as the 2 or 3 of the greatest rock bands of all time? Who are yours?
Oh,
It sounds like the Who is right there for you.
Oh, no, they wasn't even in it. They just did it first.
Okay.
I mean, you had Led Zeppelin, That's good. The Beatles, first of all, I mean, for songwriting, musician, they wasn't like the rock band that I would go to see jamming. But
just for a songwriting
and all that, they hands down. But Led Zeppelin, oh wow, it's hard to get many of them up in there.
And what hip hop?
Jimi Hendrix, of course, that band would be the first in it. But as far as Led Zeppelin, just sound like Funkadelic loud to me.
That's right.
And what hip hop did you end up really taking to?
Oh, I took. Public Enemy. Like I said, I knew most of them when they was starting Digital Underground and Dre and them. I watched them all put their thing together. But only after that, Rakim is my heart. Him and Eminem ain't. Eminem, when he was 15 in Detroit, his producer produced one of my albums with me. His first record was done with me.
Wow.
The Bass Brothers.
Wow.
He was in Dream Boy. Remember the group Dream Boy? He was the drummer. They produced Eminem. So him and Rakim was always lyrically. I'm a lyricist. You couldn't do nothing with Rakim, as far as I'm concerned. Still, I don't hear nobody do what he do. There's a lot of talented people, great. But him and Eminem, as far as lyrics, I would not want to be in a beef with either one of them. That ain't no fun.
Do you, George Clinton, when you're wrapping your mind around where we are today in hip hop, what would you like? What do you like that's happening sonically, musically that you hear, and what would you like to see more of?
I pretty much leave that up. I'm too old to be trying to go in the future, but I can appreciate what I do here, and I look at music from a lot of different ways. New York had its thing, and it's West Coast had their thing. Atlanta, when they got in there, when the Dirty South got in, they do just like we do on the dance floor with anything. They won't get off.
I'm about to say they never left.
They
so
won't
ours
leave.
now.
No, they keep flipping it, and somebody new come up and do it. I mean, even with Cardi B, I still hear Atlanta in that.
Yeah, it is.
And
she's from the Bronx, but
yeah,
it's
I know,
in there.
but it's in there. And it's in there with New York slickness.
Yeah.
She's doing it with I got this.
Yeah.
I don't care what y'all think about it. From the moment I heard it, it sounded like a little kid, lyrically, but she was doing it with that same kind of swag you do when you're walking down 125th Street, going to the Apollo. She did it like that.
Yeah.
Okay, nobody said nothing about that. Everybody wants to do it a cappella, So when I hear music like that, they keep define its length of time, how long it should be there. I have to figure out what they doing, trap this or whatever you want to call it. Whatever they call it, I'm partial to that. Now underneath, I want to be partial to a musician playing, so like Rage Against the Machine, they could sample their music, and then learn how to play it. That was something weird that most people don't know too much about.
Sampling and then playing the
and
samples.
Then learn to play the sample, not along with the sample, but actually learn to play.
Yeah, they would chop it and then go up there and learn.
And figure out what all that sound like.
Speaking of Rage, were you Wu-Tang fan as well?
Oh, hell yeah. Wu-Tang to me is the closest thing that came to Parliament-Funkadelic. You had all these different personalities, and they all got their own records later. ODB and myself, we was really close.
Really? How close were you guys?
We did a couple of Flashlight.
For the soundtrack or something?
Yep. Busta Rhymes, him.
Yeah.
And
y'all was probably
Q-tip.
real high too, boy.
I was. when they came through, I know, they all like, shit, y'all better give me that y'all got, because they was the ones smoking at that time. They were killing, and RZA and I, we did a few things together too, with a couple of groups, but they were the one closest to, they had that whole, we gonna tear this place.
No, they had a rock and roll attitude.
They made hip hop into really pop.
You feel like, you seem like a guy who a lot of times with artists as they grow up and become older, sometimes you feel for them like they didn't get their due. You to me seem like someone who has gotten to live to smell the roses and really get the appreciation.
Because now, as I'm getting it now, I really ain't got to go right here and run and try to find nothing.
Right.
I ain't
Money's rolling in now. You
I ain't,
own
got,
the
I'm sorry, I ain't got to
publishing.
run out here and try to find nothing for my habit.
Oh yeah.
I ain't got this. See, you be preoccupied with that most of the time when you're young. You know, as soon as you get it, you're trying to get rid of it. I'm old enough now. My grandkids are all in the band now. They having a good time. They doing it. And so I'm having a good time just looking at people's face. Talking, what the fuck you still doing here? I love because I told my wife, I'm going to be here to see the look on people's face when they say, damn, that music was out with my grandfather, blah, blah, blah. That's the way we used to do it. I hear Jimi Hendrix. That was my mother's music. I wanted to be here like Jimmy was, not like Muddy Waters, who was here at the same time, but wasn't getting taken care of, couldn't find how he fit in, which all he had to do was turn his amp up. And he'd been doing the same thing Jimi Hendrix was doing. It was a matter of technology that probably too loud for him. But I wanted to be here when hip-hop and all the people that say, damn, that nigga's still here. And I'm having fun doing that, you know.
That's beautiful.
And knowing the style and shit, that goes around in circles. What they wore in 58 may come back in 2001, you know. So when I see things coming, they getting ready to do this. Oh, they getting ready to do that.
Oh, we right on the verge of them putting them space boots on and leather pants.
Oh,
Them leather
okay.
pants and space boots
Oh,
is
yeah.
coming back.
Trust me.
We on the way.
We're really
right
going to
here.
leave this time.
I mean,
And the spaceship is actually going to be able to take us to outer spaces.
okay, this time for real.
For real, we go.
Hopefully. Okay.
Now we don't have to pop a tab. We
Yeah.
actually start the engine.
Oh, and go.
And we
I mean, it's
go.
gonna be an everyday thing too. I mean, the spaceship right now is in the Smithsonian.
yeah,
It is?
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, yes. It looks good.
Did you? I read an article that you guys almost went broke doing that, moving that spaceship around. It was very expensive.
We almost went broke doing a lot of things because I always did a big, even the underwater boogie. We had trucks and things, props forever. Yeah, I mean, I always spent money on that part of it. That's probably why it's so hyped now because we PR it, I said, to death. And we did it ourselves. The album covers, all of that was one theme, whether it was Bootsy or Horny Horns, Parlette, Brides, it all connected to Dr. Funkenstein and the myth and the whole story.
The whole storyline.
Yeah.
I think y'all was the first one to put a weed rolling paper in the actual album, right? I remember that.
We wasn't the first.
It wasn't the first.
Cheech and Chong did
Cheech
it.
and Chong did it first. Okay.
That's they did the full
They
album
did.
size.
Yes, bamboo.
Yeah.
The bamboo cover.
Wow. George Clinton is here, and you have a book that's about to drop, right?
Brothers be yo like George. Ain't that funkin' kind of hard on you?
The titles were always very long.
Oh,
The titles
The
were
man
always
loves a long title confirmed.
Supergroovalistic prosofunstication.
The titles were
Psycho
always
Alpha Disco Beta Bio
Did la-
Aqua Dulu.
Did labels try to tell you, like, this is a long album
They
title?
did that. They did that one time. We did that on Mothership Connection. He wanted to name it Landing in the Ghetto. I said, people are proud of the ghetto, but you can't come in that stuff. And so once we did it and it worked, he said, I won't say nothing to you. And so we came right back with clones of Dr. Funkenstein. He said, what the fuck is a clone? It hadn't, DNA hadn't,
Yeah.
nobody knew nothing
What
about DNA.
cloning meant, yeah.
What sci-fi was y'all watching back then?
Star Trek.
It was all Star Trek.
Oh, they had more theories on the kind of ways you could live and the things you could run into in the world. That gave me a lot of room. And so, yeah, we went to Star Wars when it opened the first day.
Star Wars or Star Trek? Or
Star
both?
Trek.
Star Trek.
I'm no Star Trek. But when Star Wars came out,
You went to that, too, when it
the
came out.
premiere was at the Chinese Theater in L.A.
Mm-hmm.
It sounded like a P-Funk show when it came on. You're not loud. Yep. They was talking about Mothership. We had already done Mothership.
You think they stole from you?
8
Straight
months.
up, straight
Well,
up.
I mean, yeah, well,
George Lucas
George
stole
Lucas
from
biting.
Well,
Parliament.
no,
Say it right now. Say it,
the
George.
word. Yeah, oh, he know it. I mean, I did Howard the Duck for him right after that.
Oh, really?
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
I did hear
He
that.
brought you in for Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
But he didn't give you no piece of that Star
Oh,
Wars, though.
hell, he ain't giving nothing. That's why I'm down with what's his name, Gambino on that.
Yeah.
Somebody say he's doing the Star Wars.
Oh, wow. Full circle.
Yeah, he
yes.
is. He's Lando Calrissian.
So he gonna get a visit from me. I wants to go in the outer space. If they make that trip, and I'm still hanging around here,
You go.
You on the plane.
I'm going. I don't give a fuck coming back. I'm going.
I love that. Wow, George Clinton. And there's a new album, too, yes?
New album. It's called Medicaid Fraud Dog. all of this meds and drugs and meds, one nation under sedation. The whole world, it's about drugs.
Yes, it
I
is.
mean, it's about drugs, whether they call it drugs or meds. I'm afraid.
Pharmaceuticals,
I'm
it's
afraid.
all
I'm
code.
afraid of the pharmaceuticals and the meds than I am of the street drugs, because they actually trying to make street drugs to appeal to people or get you hooked intentionally, even when it ain't addictive. I mean, like with cigarettes, wasn't that bad until they started putting all that shit in it. Then it became it's more
Became a
dangerous.
business.
Yeah.
Now they got to keep you coming back.
They got to keep you coming back. They get you hooked for a reason. You go there for a cold, you come out there with a habit. You go get your teeth taken out, get a root canal. They give you enough pills for everybody in your family to be hooked. That's
Medicaid fraud, dog.
Medicaid fraud, dog.
All right.
George Clinton, give it up
Thank
for
you
him.
so
This was
much,
a
man.
legendary conversation,
Good,
man.
man. I'm excited. I like being up here. We ain't play no music.
Anytime you want to come, the door is
Record,
open.
pick the record. Let's play the newest record. Intro the record like a DJ, like old school.
Oh, yeah, you
Let's
like
go.
that. That's right.
Let's go. Let's get to it.
I'm gonna make you sick. I'm gonna make you sick of me. Then I'm gonna give you the antidote, something to make you feel better. I'm gonna make you ill. Then I'm gonna give you the big pill, something easy to swallow.
Hello.
George Clinton, ladies and gentlemen.
George Clinton.